come up that way, or your questions that come up are going to be limited to the attorney that opens that door and not to defendants who are represented by counsel who do not open that door.
Okay.
Judge, if I might just point out for your edification, at that position on the road, this witness said, yes, my client is a gang member, but he did not join after the crimes. I would say that that would eliminate any possible relevance, and I don't intend to question it.
All right, well, as long as you're not opening that door, it's never gonna come out.
Very
With your client. I mean, I don't know if you want to tip your hand at this point, but if you're telling us you don't intend to go there at all, okay, then it shouldn't come up at all. And so,
I will advise the witness just the way that Your Honor said, and I guess we'll see what happens.
that anything about that shouldn't come up unless it's a direct question, and only a direct response with respect to that incident.
I have no idea.
In any event, is he on the other side of the door?
I was told, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes.
State if you wish to speak with him, I'll let you do it first. I'll let him
Yes.
talk to his counsel last. And
Yes.
that'll be it. So tell him that, relax, we'll be with him in a minute.
Yes.
Judge, are we gonna bring him out to do that, or put him in a box here?
No,
As
no.
far as the attorney's going back there.
We're choosing the letter. You still really went to the
All right, well, you said I was talking first.
Yeah. Is there a problem with the assistant state attorney talking to him back here?
I was told by the deputies from DOD that I was granted permission already.
Okay, he's the sergeant in charge, that's what I was gonna ask.
That's fine. What about Mr. Lewis?
Sorry.
He needs to speak with him privately for a minute or two before he stands up.
I don't know if it's okay to speak about it.
One of you can be back there if you wish. You're good with that? We'll be off the record until
record, the video, they know what it is, but I'd like to.
No, I'm saying it's playing right now, so do you want to pause it or?
I've asked Mr. Padilla who's done looking at it, that's why. Okay,
All right, we're back on the record.
So Judge, the state has, presented us with an exhibit it intends to use into evidence. 28-minute spliced surveillance video from Riva Motorsports. And the state is indicating it intends to use this piece of evidence through Robert Allen. As we have Mr. Bullard, I have two objections to that. One, first, is that over half of the camera angles and views from this 28-minute video are not of Mr. Allen. They don't include Mr. Allen. Mr. Allen isn't in the scene, and so there is no way that Mr. Allen can authenticate the entirety of the 28 minutes that are on this list. He could probably authenticate parts that he's in, but at least half of this video he is not in, and so we have an objection as to authentication. My second objection pertains to my motion in limine. I moved in limine that the state should be prohibited from introducing just edited portions of the disc as opposed to the entire disc, and then they can play whatever edited portions that they want. All that we have been provided, and that it appears that the state intends to introduce, is my exact fear, is edited portions. And so, based on the court's ruling, motion in limine, the objection was
I'm attorney on behalf of Mr. Producer on behalf of the state. Jordan Wall.
Okay. Couple of things. First of all, with respect to authentication, certainly there's nothing in the rules that say the person has to actually be in a photograph to authenticate a photograph or a video or anything else. The person has to be familiar enough with the time and place depicted to say that this is a fair and accurate representation. So if the witness is going to say, I was there, that's how it appeared that day, then that is going to be sufficient for an authentication. There's nothing that requires the person to say, I was standing at that vantage point for the entire 28 minutes. They could say, I was there, I saw something, it's fair and accurate representation. So if he has viewed this and he can make that representation, then that would be sufficient for this court for authentication with your objection noted and preserved. But
may I respond to that issue,
Yes.
Judge? For example, this video starts before Mr. Allen could authenticate actions that occurred prior to him leaving the house. And second, there's multiple, again, video angles, for example, of things that are occurring inside the store regarding Mr. Onfroy and Mr. Kerr, while Mr. Allen is sitting in his van outside the store. So there's absolutely no way that he could authenticate what is going on inside the store while he's in his van outside. So I understand what the court is saying, but the response is there's no way that he can authenticate items that he was temporally not even at Riva for, and in other instances isn't even in the building for when there's video going on inside.
okay. So what Mr. Kimmock is referring to, there are portions, for example, where Mr. Allen and Mr. Williams enter Riva. They then cross paths with the victim and Mr. Kerr. They go to another portion of the store, and then at some point they leave or exit before or after they come. What Mr. Kimmock is saying would mean that the state would have to take frame by frame and say, okay, now that you've left the building, can you authenticate the part where the victim is still there? We believe, under the rules of evidence, that this particular witness can properly authenticate and say that, for example, the parking lot, when he saw the victim, when he passed literally feet from him, closer to him, almost as close to him as I am to Mr. Kimmock, when he was in the building that day, and everything that he saw that day is a fair and accurate represent what he recalls, and he can say yes. So I think that satisfies his authentication and foundation to be able to say that, whether or not it's from one camera angle or next.
Okay, so here, again, here's the court's ruling on this. Assuming that he indicates that he has viewed this before and that to him it appears to be a fair and accurate representation of what he saw that day, I will, over your objection, which is noted, deserve, be admitting it. So you do not have to, again, make this objection when it's offered. I'm going to just say any objection, and you can say subject to or whatever, preserving. But I'm just letting you know now what my ruling is on that. Nothing in my ruling means that on cross-examination you can't ask him about, well, you weren't there, you didn't see that, and you can challenge that. I'm saying a sufficient ground has been laid in order for the admissibility.
As to the second portion regarding the court's prior motion to eliminate, I do not intend, I still am in my case in chief. I still have a long ways to go. The unedited, when I say unedited, meaning it's not a compilation,
Right.
all angles, it needs to be on a drive. We suspect it will likely need a player. And so I have to enter it through another witness. I'm literally 3 witnesses in. And so I don't believe that I'm even in danger of violating any order because I'm not done with my case in chief and I can certainly enter it and both will be in evidence. The court's ruling never said it had to be together at the same exact time.
It wouldn't be at the same exact time, but is there going to be an objection from the defense to the entire, I mean, you've probably had a chance to talk to whoever the custodian is. Do you have a real objection to the authenticity of the entire?
No. At
Okay,
least on behalf of Mr. Book.
No, on behalf of Mr. Williams. No, you.
so why don't we go ahead and admit it now?
I don't, it's a drive, Judge, and so I don't have the drive with me because it requires a player. I can admit it tomorrow at earliest as an officer of the court. I have it, will admit it as is, unredacted, they can see it. That's what my representation was to Mr. Kimmock, who said he wanted to object based on his reasonings, so.
Well, I don't necessarily need the player. I just, where's the exhibit?
At BSL. I don't have it right now, Judge. I don't have it to be able to enter it at this very moment. If they don't have an objection, I'm asking the court then, I mean, I'm not saying it sarcastically, but is there harm now versus in the morning where likely this witness will still be
It
on
would be
the stand?
nicer if I had it here, I could put a sticker on it, and all that sort of thing, but, again, you know, my ruling is that, that the entire uncut, unput together, portion of it is the exhibit. What you are showing is also an exhibit, but it's a, redacted or modified version of it, and that you know, both need to be in for purposes of having things flow forward. I will allow you to enter and publish this portion with the understanding that if you later do not, then they might have a motion.
Totally understand, Judge.
Fair enough? Over objection? I mean, I'm just asking about my procedure, not about whether or not you're not waiving or giving up any of your objections.
I'm continuing the objection. I think it's inappropriate to admit an item into evidence that is not admissible at the time that it's being admitted into evidence and take that shortcut of just saying, well, it will be admissible because I'm admitting something else later on.
I don't know that it's not admissible. I think potentially it can be admissible in this form. The reason why I'm holding the state to do the rest of it was because there was an objection eliminated under a completeness doctrine fair. If they're only going to do this, they should have an ability, you should have an ability, and the juror should have an ability to see the whole thing. So this in and of itself, by itself, is admissible, but based on the objection to that, I have said I would, require the state to produce the entirety.
Yes, Judge. As far as the first issue that the court ruled on, I'm just informing the court that if, and I expect this to be the case, if the state's questioning of Mr. Allen regarding the authenticity of the video does not meet what I believe to be valid under the authenticity doctrine, I will be requesting to voir dire the witness, which I think is my right. I'm happy to do that in front of the jury or outside the jury. But I know the court said we didn't have to renew our objection, so that's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm going to want to voir dire the witness. And
I will allow you to do that in front of the jury. That's fine. So the appropriate time for that would be after the state lays whatever foundation they are, and they say we move in exhibit whatever it is, and then I turn to you for the objection. You can say I wish to voir dire, and I'll give you that opportunity, and then you can just say I maintain my objection or withdraw it, or as you please.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Anything else that we need to discuss before we proceed?
Nothing from the state.
not from the court.
No, Judge.
Very well, thank you. Bring them on.
All right, for the hearing, please.
I recognize that as Polish.
Yep. Cranberry line,
My wife likes that very much. Shelf was the black sugar.
that's also good. First entering.
Parties may be seated, court will come to order, the parties are present, the jurors are present, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I trust all of you were in all the court's, thank you. State call your next.
State calls Robert Allen.
Raise your right hand, each one.
Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. You may be seated. Please state your full name and spell your first and last name for the record.
Robert Allen, R-O-B-E-R-T, that way, A-L-L-E-N.
You may inquire.
Thank you. Mr. Allen, nice and loud. That bar that's in front of you is a microphone, so just please make sure you project your voice so all of us can hear you back there, okay? All right. So good afternoon, Mr. Allen. I'm gonna start out with what's the obvious. You have on a uniform, correct?
Yes.
Where are you in custody, in Broward?
No.
You're currently in custody right now in Broward County, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to talk about what you're in custody for. You've been indicted on first-degree murder, correct?
Yes.
And for a second count of armed robbery, correct?
Yes.
That was for the case that is against the victim, Jahseh Onfroy.
Yes.
That'd be good, yeah. Perfect, thank you. See,
Okay. This is where we left off. You're currently in custody, correct?
Yes.
And you were indicted for first-degree murder and also for armed robbery in the case of, for the victim, Jahseh Onfroy, correct?
Yes.
Now, the case that you were indicted for had 3 co-defendants. Who are the 3 co-defendants that you were indicted with?
Michael Bullride, Trayvon Newsom, and Future Flynn.
Okay, we'll get into the details about that in just a minute. You're not on trial today, obviously. You're here as a state's witness, correct?
Yes.
You have entered a guilty plea as to your involvement, correct?
Yes.
And as a result of that guilty plea, your charge was changed from first-degree murder to second-degree murder, correct?
Yes.
Now, I'm asking you open-endedly, have I, or Ms. Buckaloo, or any representative from the state offered you a sentence guaranteed that you're going to get as a result of your testimony today?
No.
Now, it's obvious you're testifying. You hope to be able to get a sentence that may allow you to see life outside of prison one day? Okay. But you don't know currently what you will be sentenced to, correct?
Yes.
As you are aware, is it possible that you could still receive life in prison?
Yes.
Now, have you been offered any beneficial or preferential treatment as a result of your pleading guilty?
No.
You currently are a convicted felon, correct?
Yes.
And you've been convicted in 2 separate cases. I believe there were 12 counts total for felony, prior felonies.
Yes.
And And that's not including what you pled guilty to for this case, but you have not been sentenced to, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about, well, we're gonna talk a lot about, why you were even indicted and what you know about the case, okay? First, I wanna go down the line and have you identify who you remember is who from the defendants, okay? Please, do you see Michael Boatwright in this courtroom today?
Yeah.
Okay, identify him by an article of clothing and where is he seated?
He has a black suit with a gray turtleneck. Sitting closer this way.
Okay? And do you see Trayvon Newsom in this courtroom today?
Yes.
Where is he seated? And identify him by an article of his clothing.
He's over there. Probably in the middle of the table. Gray suit.
Okay? And do you see Dietrich Williams in this courtroom today?
Yes.
Identify him and where is he seated in this courtroom? And you can identify him please by an article of his clothing.
He has a black suit. Far end.
All right, well, there's two people that have on a black suit. So give me a little bit more description as to the person that you're referring to as Williams.
Yeah, red tie.
Okay, what race is he?
Black.
All right. Your Honor, please let the record identify, or please let the record reflect an in-court identification by this witness of Michael Boatwright.
So noted.
Please let the record reflect an in-court identification of this witness of Trayvon Newsom.
So noted.
Please let the record reflect an in-court identification of this witness of Dietrich Williams.
So noted.
Okay. Let's start with, who did you know the longest out of three defendants that are here today? How long did you know Dietrich for? Now, are you talking about 8 or 9 years from 2023, or are you talking about from 2018, which is the year we're gonna talk most about? Okay. So at the time of 2018, you knew him for about 3 years? Just doing simple math? Okay, so how long?
About 5 years.
And were you, how good of friends were you? Give me an idea. Did you hang out often? Did you hang out several times a week?
They're all right.
Okay, so how often would you say that you hung out with Dietrich Williams?
Almost every day.
Almost every day. Now, Dietrich Williams is the name that you identified him by. Is he known by a nickname?
Yes.
What's his nickname?
Check.
Did he have another nickname regarding like what he did for a profession at that time?
Objection beating.
Oh,
You can answer.
Tattoo action.
Tattoo Man Chucky. Do you know why he was called that?
That's hearsay. Because he does tattoos.
Okay, so we're talking about Dietrich Williams, and you said because he does tattoos, he was called Tattoo Man Chucky?
Yes.
Now, how well did you know Trayvon Newsom? You have to speak up. Remember that bar in front of you, nice and loud, Mr. Allen.
I know that well.
Okay, back in 2018. How often did you see him though?
Almost every day.
Now, why is that if you didn't know him that well? Was he staying with you at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And how long in 2018 was he living with you?
So every month.
Now, I'm saying 2 or 3 months in 2018. I'm going to also narrow that down to the time of the homicide, which is June 18th of 2018. Was he, referring to Trayvon Newsom, living with you at that time?
Yes.
Okay, and by living, I'm asking you, he didn't have another residence, he was at your residence every day, slept there every day?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how about Michael, oh, before I move on to Michael Boatwright, did Trayvon Newsom have a nickname that he went by?
Trey.
So sometimes he'd be referred to as Trey. All right. Now, Michael Boatwright. How well do you know Michael Boatwright?
About 2 years.
From 2018 we're talking about?
Yes.
How often did you see Michael Boatwright at that time?
Almost every day.
Did Michael Boatwright have a nickname?
Boatwright.
So you would just refer to it as his last name?
Yes.
So, I know that you've gone down the line and told us how close you were to each of the defendants. Did all four of you hang out together?
Yes.
How often?
Almost every day.
And how long was this type of, I guess, friendship between the four of you where you hung out every day?
2 or 3 months.
And this was during the time of the homicide of June 2018?
Yes.
Okay. There came a point in time prior to June 18th, 2018, I'm talking about the day before, where there was some type of agreement or plan, however you want to refer to it, to rent a vehicle. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that. Whose idea was it to rent the vehicle? You have to speak up nice and loud.
Dietrich.
Okay, so it was Dietrich's idea to rent the vehicle. Why?
Rob.
Rob who?
Anyone.
So when you say it was idea, what was supposed to be the plan? You rent the vehicle and what? Tell us in detail.
Ride around with people off.
And when you say we, who's the we?
Me, Michael, Trey, and Dietrich.
The four of you.
Yes.
Was there supposed to be anybody else involved that you're aware of?
No.
Okay. So who was supposed to rent the vehicle on June 17th? This is the day before the homicide.
Trey's sister.
Who is that?
Tony Roberts.
Had you met her before?
Yes.
And I'm talking about before June 17th, 2018. How long did you know her before that date?
About 2 or 3 months.
How often had you seen Tony Robinson before that date?
Almost every other day.
Who introduced you to Tony Robinson?
Dietrich.
And when he introduced you, how did he introduce her? Like, as what did he say that, if anything, was the relationship to her?
Objection to hearsay.
Ooh.
That was his sister, and she was over at the complex.
I'm sorry, I can't understand what you said.
Speak nice and loud so that we can hear you all the way back here.
That was his sister, and he was over at the car, and she was over at the complex.
Okay. Do you know how she was supposed to rent the car? For example, was she supposed to go to like an Alamo or one of those places like Enterprise, or do you know how?
Objection to hearsay.
You may answer.
Yeah, she goes to an alcohol tour.
Had you, or to your knowledge, any of the co-defendants ever used that app before?
No.
Okay, so this was the first time? As far as you know, using that app to rent a car, just in general?
I was using it for like 2 months.
Okay. Now, the app that she used, why was it that she was renting the car for the four of you? I'll ask you, breaking it down. Were you able to rent the car?
No.
Okay. And do you know why she was renting the car? If you don't know, it's okay.
Objection to hearsay.
Not really.
Okay. There came a point in time where the car had to be picked up, as far as you know, correct?
Yes.
Who picked up the car?
Me. Me and Michael Booker.
Okay. And was there anybody else besides you and Michael Boatwright that picked up the car?
Yes.
Who?
Somewhere else.
Where did you pick the car up from?
Somewhere in there.
And when did you pick up the car?
I still am sorry, but I can't do it.
June 17th, 2018.
What time did you pick up the car?
I'm in June.
Was the sun still up or did the sun already set?
I'm still.
Okay. Do you recall how long you were supposed to have the car for?
Okay.
And do you know, out of the four of you, who was supposed to drive around the car during this time that you said you were supposed to be robbing people?
Jacob.
Who, out of the four of you, decided that Dietrich was going to drive the car?
That's just what he do, he drive the car.
Okay. So, in the car, besides the four of you, what else, if anything, did you have in order to be able to do this, to rob people?
You know, I had knives, I got masks,
Why?
for all people.
Okay. You expected to be armed with a firearm?
Yes,
Did at any point all four of you expect to be armed with a firearm?
yes.
And what was the purpose of having a mask or masks, plural?
So I identify.
Okay. Who was supposed to be wearing the mask?
Everyone.
So now I'm going to ask you specifically about the firearms that each of you have. What kind of firearm did you have?
I have a Springfield 40.
What kind of firearm did Michael Boatwright have on that June 18th, June 17th timeframe?
If I'm not mistaken, it's a GSK 22 rifle.
Now, when you say 22 rifle, you know the caliber of the rifle?
22.
22 caliber. Okay? What kind of firearm did Trayvon Newsom have?
Smith and Wesson 38.
Okay?
Revolver.
Revolver. What kind of firearm did Dietrich Williams have?
Smith. A Taurus 38 revolver.
And was there anything that you recall that stood out, for example, about Dietrich Williams' 38 revolver firearm that he had?
Yes.
What?
The hammer was gold and the trigger was gold.
Okay. So it stood out for that reason because it was ornate.
Yes.
Now, let me take you to the morning of June 18th, 2018. Okay? You recall that day?
Yes.
Where did the four of you start that day?
Me, Michael Boatwright, and Trayvon Newsom started at my house.
Where was Dietrich Williams when the three of you, Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom, were at your house?
He was home.
At what point was it either discussed or did you decide to all four get together and then actually leave to go do what you said you were going to do?
At what time?
Yes.
Maybe like 2 o'clock.
Who initiated that conversation?
Dietrich Williams.
How did he initiate it?
What we doing today?
You have to speak up nice and loud so that we can hear you all the way back here.
Guys, what are we doing today and where are we going?
And what did you understand that to be in reference to what he was saying?
Or What area are we going to rob people?
What did you say in response to Dietrich Williams initiating that conversation?
It doesn't matter.
What did Michael Boatwright say in response to Dietrich Williams initiating that conversation?
Nothing.
And what did Trayvon Newsom say in response to Dietrich Williams initiating that conversation?
Nothing.
You can answer.
Nothing.
Okay. At some point, was this in person?
Yes.
So when all four of you were together and you said it doesn't matter, how did you decide where you were gonna go?
We haven't decided yet.
So at what point did you actually leave the four of you in that car?
Chucky realized he didn't have any mask.
Okay, so when you're saying Chucky, you're referring to also, you refer to him as Chucky sometimes, or Dietrich?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say he didn't have any mask, what did he need the mask for?
To rob people.
What kind of car was it that was rented through the tow app by Tony Robinson?
Like a Dodge Ram.
So after Dietrich Williams realizes that he doesn't have a mask to rob people, what did you guys decide to do?
We'll buy one.
Where?
Riva Motorsports.
Who drove to Riva Motorsports?
Adrian.
Okay, so Dietrich's driving in the front driver's seat. Who's in the front passenger seat?
Michael Boatwright.
Who is in the back passenger seat?
Trayvon Newsom.
And where were you seated?
Behind Dietrich Williams.
When you're in the car on the way to Riva Motorsports, the firearms that you just detailed that everybody was in possession of, where were those firearms? Okay, when you say in the car, were they in the back or did everybody have their own respective firearms?
Everybody had their own respective firearms.
What time did you get to Riva Motorsports?
I'm not sure. I think something.
Okay. When you get there, what, if anything, do you realize from the parking lot, or do any of you realize from the parking lot?
Dietrich notices the victim.
How?
He sees him walking in the store.
So what does Dietrich Williams say when he notices the victim from the parking lot?
And that's XXX.
Did the three, you included, look up and see who he was referring to?
Yes, he was already in the store.
Okay, so I'll ask you one by one. What did you say in response to Dietrich Williams pointing out that Xxx was walking into Riva Motorsports?
Nothing.
What did Michael Boatwright say in response to Dietrich Williams pointing out that Xxx was walking into Riva Motorsports?
Nothing.
And what did Trayvon Newsom say in response to Dietrich Williams pointing out that Xxx was walking into Riva Motorsports?
Nothing.
So what did Dietrich Williams say next?
When we pulled up next to the car,
What car?
BMW, X car.
How do you know that it was X's car?
Dietrich pulled it up on his phone.
Okay. So Dietrich Williams was driving and intentionally pulled up next to Xxx's car?
Yes.
And what does he do next with whatever it is that he pulled up on his phone?
He showed that it's the same car.
Where was he looking? What images were you looking at? If you say he showed us, from what?
Instagram.
Okay, do you know whose Instagram account it was?
No.
Do you recall what the Instagram photograph or what the image looked like?
No.
Okay. And what was the purpose of Dietrich Williams pointing out the car from Instagram?
More than Rob.
So at some point, he confirms that that's the car, and then what's said next?
They tell me to go inside with Dietrich to see if that's him.
When you say they, we're gonna be very specific, because there's 3 co-defendants. Who told you to go inside with Dietrich Williams to see if Triple X was in there?
Michael Boatwright, and Trayvon Newsom.
They both did, told you to go inside.
Yes.
Okay. And do you know why, what was the purpose of them telling you to go inside versus all 4 of you going inside, or them just going inside themselves?
There's some speculation.
No.
What, if anything, did Dietrich Williams say in response to Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom telling you and Dietrich Williams to go inside?
Dietrich was already going in, so they just wanted to hear me say that it was actually him.
So they wanted to hear it from you as well.
Yes.
And the purpose you're saying for going in is to confirm that it was actually Triple X?
Yes.
And if it was Triple X, if there was a confirmation, then what was supposed to happen? What was the plan?
There was no plan at the time.
So when you say to confirm that it's him, was there going to be a next step as far as to target Triple X?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, so at some point after Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom tell you to go inside, you actually go inside?
Yes.
Who do you go inside with?
Dietrich.
Do you recall how you were dressed?
Yes.
How were you dressed?
Black t-shirt. Black jeans.
How was Dietrich Williams dressed?
Great undershirt on. I put sweatpants and some orange socks.
How was Michael Boatwright dressed?
He had an undershirt, black jeans, and black shoes.
How was Trayvon Newsom dressed?
Gray sweatpants, black shoes, and a t-shirt.
Okay. Now, excuse me, when you go inside, before we have you get to the point of where you go inside, how tall are you?
5'8", 5'1".
How much do you weigh
Now, or at the time?
at the time in 2018?
30, 14.
Okay. And I'm asking you in relation to, first starting with Dietrich Williams. Were you heavier than Dietrich Williams or thinner than Dietrich Williams?
Heavy.
Trayvon Newsom, were you heavier than Trayvon Newsom or thinner than Trayvon Newsom?
Heavy.
Michael Boatwright, were you heavier than Michael Boatwright or thinner than Michael Boatwright?
Heavy.
Asking about height, okay? Who is taller, you or Michael Boatwright?
Michael Boatwright.
How tall is Michael Boatwright from what you can recall?
He was 6'1", 6'2", 6'3".
Who is taller, you or Trayvon Newsom?
Trayvon.
How tall is Trayvon Newsom, you recall?
5'5", so you probably got
Who is taller, you or Dietrich Williams?
probably you.
How tall is Dietrich Williams?
Probably 5'7", 5'6".
Who is the tallest out of the 4 of you?
Michael Boatwright.
And then who would you say is the next tallest?
Trayvon Newsom.
So you're in the store.
Yes.
Do you see the victim?
Yes.
Where?
When we first walked in, to the left.
To your left when you're walking into the store?
Yes.
What was he wearing?
I think about a jean jacket.
Okay. What else did you notice about him?
That's it. That's the time.
Do you remember how his hair was styled?
I think it was a ponytail.
Do you remember if his hair had any colors or anything like that to it, or what color his hair was?
Like blonde. Paint blonde.
Okay. Do you remember if he had on any jewelry?
Not at the time.
Not at the time. Did there come come a point in time where you realized he had jewelry?
I think when we was leaving,
Okay. Tell us about it. How did you realize he had jewelry?
well, I think Dietrich told us he had to,
Okay. At what point did Dietrich tell you that the victim had jewelry?
when we leaving out the store.
Did you see if the victim was with anyone?
Yes,
Who? Do you know the person?
no,
Can you identify what the person looked like?
no,
Do you know if the person was male or female?
no,
Do you know what race the person was?
black,
When you were in there, had you ever seen XXX before that date and time?
no,
Do you know if Michael Boatwright was familiar with XXX?
he didn't know,
Do you know if Trayvon Newsom was familiar with XXX?
he didn't know,
Do you know if Dietrich Williams was familiar with XXX?
yes,
What did he say, or how did he tell you he was?
showed us his Instagram,
Do you know, is he a follower on Instagram?
no,
Okay. Besides Dietrich Williams first initiating conversation about robbing XXX, was there anybody, and I mean anybody, whether it's somebody that, you know, we know personally or not, was there anybody else that brought up or was responsible for you robbing XXX besides Dietrich Williams?
no,
Was there anybody, for example, that hired you to do this?
no,
Was there anybody that initiated it for any reason that you haven't told us today?
no,
Now, when you spotted XXX, did he actually, could you tell, could XXX see you?
I don't think he planned this.
Where did you go from that point? Did you stay around XXX or did you continue to walk on? Where?
Close to the cabin school,
Why?
that's what I'm asking.
So what did you do? When I say you and Dietrich Williams, what did you do next?
Walking, I'm trying to call Michael Boatwright,
When you say try, what do you mean you tried?
calling him,
Why were you trying to call Michael Boatwright?
telling him that was him,
Okay, remember, keep your voice nice and loud. Okay, so, what did you do next after the call wasn't able to go through to Michael?
Nothing.
How long were you in the store?
probably 5 to 10 minutes.
Were masks actually purchased?
Yes,
By who? Do
Jesus,
you know what kind of mask?
black man,
And do you know how many, if any? Were you there at the counter when he was purchasing the mask?
not sure.
After Dietrich Williams purchased his mask to rob that day, where did you guys do next?
Started walking outside, like, walking toward the car, leaving out the store.
Did you see XXX again on the way out of the store?
Actually, yes,
Where was he the second time you saw him?
I wouldn't say the same spot.
Do you know if XXX noticed you the second time on the way out?
No.
What, if anything, did you do next?
Walked to the car.
So based on what you're telling us, you exited the store first before XXX?
Yes,
Okay. Where was the car? By the car, which car are you referring to?
which car?
That you walked to?
Truck, like, the car there
Where was it?
in the parking lot.
And who was it that parked it there? So when you get back into the car, what position, who was the driver? Who was the front passenger? Who was the back passenger? And where were you seated? And now that you're back in the car, where are the firearms? Where? Are they in the lump in a trunk, or does everybody have their firearm on them? Okay. At this point, what do you discuss now that the four of you are back in the car, and do you confirm for the three co-defendants that you indeed saw XXX?
I tell them I saw XXX. They get quiet. And Deidre asks them what are they gonna do. I tell them, no, I don't think that's a good idea because I just went in on camera.
So you were aware that there was surveillance in Riva Motorsports.
Yes.
And when you say that's not a good idea because I'm on camera, why did you care about that? Because what? I can't hear you nice and loud.
I knew it was a great chance we're going to be caught.
And
I'm sorry, does he have a microphone in front of him? Because-
Yes.
Okay.
you knew it was a great chance that you were going to be caught. And why is that significant to you? It's kind of obvious that you didn't want to get arrested.
Right.
How did Michael Boatwright feel about that? What did he say he felt about that?
He didn't really want to do it anymore.
How about Trayvon Newsom?
He didn't want to do it.
And what did Dietrich Williams say?
He asked me to scared.
He asked the two, Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright, if they're scared.
Yes.
And what, if anything, in response to Dietrich Williams saying, "Are you scared?" did Michael Boatwright do?
So I'm going to get him.
All right, we're gonna get him. Who's the him?
XXX.
What, if anything, in response to Dietrich Williams saying, "Are you scared?" did Trayvon Newsom do?
He said the same thing.
All right,
I'm
you
sorry,
talk.
but I didn't hear it.
I think he said the same thing.
Thank you.
Now that the four of you are in the car, and I guess you've decided you're going to get XXX, how then does Michael Boatwright get dressed from that point?
He puts on his black hoodie,
And what else?
his mask.
And what about Trayvon Newsom? How does he get dressed?
He puts on a black sweater, and he puts on his mask.
How was it decided between the four of you that Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom were gonna wear the mask and the hoodie?
Egypt was driving, and I told him I would not get out because I was looking parts of it, because I knew I just was on camera.
Okay. So just from that, it was decided then that Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright were gonna be the ones to actually get out with the mask.
Yes.
Okay. Where did you guys go from there? Are you still in the parking lot at this point?
No, we're parked across the street.
Why? Why did you move from the Riva's parking lot to park across the street?
Because Chucky came up with some type of theory saying that if we leave out of the parking lot and move next to the next parking lot, and across the street, in that parking lot, that would look like we left.
So it's Chucky's idea to act like you left so that you're not on camera?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware that Riva's cameras extended all the way to across the street where you parked?
No.
Now, what was the purpose of even, besides trying to evade being on camera, what was the purpose of waiting across the street? What were you waiting for?
I heard you pull out Riva Motorsports.
Who's him?
XXX.
Why were you waiting for him to pull out of the store?
So Jesus would block him off.
Whose idea was that to block off the victim as he's leaving Riva Motorsports?
Deidre Williams.
That's speculation.
Please answer. Whose idea was it?
Deidre Williams.
Okay, so had you been to Riva Motorsports before that day?
No.
From what you recall from the layout, do you know how many exits there were?
One.
And the exit that you were waiting for the victim to come out of, how was the rest of the building situated? Was it open space or was it enclosed with a gate?
Again.
Okay. And when you're saying that Dietrich wanted to block him off, was the purpose to trap the victim as he's trying to exit? So once he's trapped, what was the plan supposed to be? Once Dietrich Williams cuts him off and traps off his car, his being the victim in this case, what was the plan for the three of you? What was Michael Boatwright supposed to do?
Michael Boatwright, Trayvon was supposed to get out on Raleigh.
Okay. With the firearms that you just detailed a little earlier that they had?
Yes.
How long did it take while you're sitting there waiting for the victim to come out of the store?
10 minutes.
Okay, so for 10 minutes, the four of you sat lying in wait for the victim to come out?
Yes.
What's the discussion happening as you're waiting for the victim to come out and you're about to target him between the four of you?
Objection to hearsay.
On Raleigh.
Okay,
Just I would object and ask the witness clarify specifically what it is that's speaking.
Sustained, so if you would.
sure.
Thank you.
As the four of you are waiting to target the victim, as you're lying in wait, what was Michael Boatwright saying in that 10 minutes that you are waiting to target the victim? As you're waiting, lying in wait, for 10 minutes to target the victim, what was Trayvon Newsom saying? And as you're waiting for 10 minutes, lying in wait to target the victim, what was Dietrich Williams saying? Eventually, does the victim come out? Who is he with? Did it appear, from what you can tell in your vantage point, if the victim was armed? Did it appear from your vantage point that the victim even had any idea or knew from your vantage point, based on his demeanor, of what you guys were about to do, that there was some danger that was approaching?
No.
Okay, so the victim gets in the car. What position does the victim get? What position of the car, his own car, does he get in? What about the gentleman that you said, the black male that he was with? And what happens next?
They drive around, as they're coming out of the Riva Motorsports, either drops them off. I can go right and trailer to drive out.
When you say get out, did the car, tell us the speed in which this happened. For example, did Michael Boatwright drive obeying the limits of the law and gingerly pull out in front of the victim? Or how fast was he going?
Either out of their speed, speed.
Okay, how fast did Michael Boatwright get out the car?
Very fast.
How fast did Trayvon Newsom get out the car?
Very fast.
Was there any discussion prior to that the two of them, referring to Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom, were gonna get out the car at the same time, and then what they were gonna do once they got out the car? Okay. How was it decided who was gonna go to what side of the victim's car? For example, who was gonna go to the driver's side, or who was gonna go to the passenger side of the victim's car? Okay. And where were you seated when you're watching all of this? So tell us, once Michael Boatwright gets out of the Dodge Journey and approaches the victim's vehicle, what does he, referring to Michael Boatwright, say and do? First, what does he say?
Michael Boyd,
Yes. What is he saying as you're saying robbing him? What does he say?
pretty good.
Okay, what is he doing?
He had his rifle stuck in like side the window.
I'm sorry?
He had-
Nice and loud.
He had his rifle stuck inside, like inside the car,
What side of the car?
driver's side.
How is he holding the rifle? He being Michael Boatwright. Show us with your hands the best you can. Okay, so you're showing both hands?
Yes,
Now I see your hands are, you're in custody, so your hands are handcuffed and shackled to your waist, correct?
yes.
Okay, so I'm using myself as an example, okay? How high up? Tell me when to stop when I get to the height that he was holding the rifle.
Right there.
Okay, so Michael Boatwright is holding the rifle like this with two hands,
Yes,
and he's pointing it at the victim.
yes.
Okay. How about Trayvon Newsom? What does he do once he gets out the car with his firearm?
He runs to the car, he's pulling on his necklace,
Whose necklace?
extra necklace.
At that point, where was the passenger that was with Triple X?
Then he's going, he ran out the car.
Okay. And from which side of the car is Trayvon Newsom trying to take Triple X's necklace?
Drive,
Okay, so at the point that you're describing, both Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright are on the driver's side,
yes,
and while Michael Boatwright is holding the firearm on the victim, Trayvon Newsom is trying to take his property.
yes.
What, if anything, is Triple X doing in response to any of this?
I couldn't see that.
Could you hear what he was saying? What is Trayvon Newsom, if anything, what is he saying? Were you able to hear him?
No.
At some point, what happens next after they being Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright are on the same side of the driver's side of the victim's car? What happens next?
Michael Boatwright pushes tray lights to go on the other side of the car.
Does Trayvon Newsom go on the other side?
Yes.
And what happens next?
He reaches inside the car and grabs. Trayvon Newsom reaches inside the bag. Inside the car and grabs the bag.
What bag?
Privilege bag.
Okay, do you remember what kind of bag it was?
Yes.
Tell us.
The Louis Vuitton bag.
What does Trayvon Newsom do after he grabs the bag?
As he grabs the bag, shots are fired.
Judge, I'm gonna ask him to speak into the microphone.
As he's grabbing the bag, shots are fired.
Who shoots the shots that are fired?
Michael Boatwright,
And who does he shoot?
Triple X,
Where does he shoot him from? What side of the car?
driver.
So if Triple X is in the driver's seat and Michael Boatwright is in the driver's side, the shots are coming onto Triple X's left side or right side? Which side?
Yes,
Okay. And what happens, how many times do you recall that Michael Boatwright shoots Triple X?
maybe like 2 or 3 times.
What does Triple X do as a result of that? What does Michael Boatwright do next? What does Trayvon Newsom do?
Kind of like slips and fall like a little bit, and runs the car.
What does Dietrich Williams do? Now, are all four of you back in the Dodge journey?
Yes,
What does Dietrich Williams do?
he drives off.
How long does this take from the point that Dietrich Williams cuts off the victim from leaving Riva Motorsports and Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright get out and shove guns in the face of the victim? How long does all this take from start to finish?
That's the 3 minutes.
at some point, and I'm gonna get into what happened after, the shooting, at some point, you realized there was surveillance of everything that we're talking about today, correct?
Yes.
Now, may I approach you, Honor?
You may.
I'm gonna show you what has been pre-marked for identification in state B. Do you recognize States B?
Yes.
How do you recognize States B?
I just told
And what else?
you.
Okay. Had you had an opportunity to review States B?
Yes.
And does it fairly and accurately represent what you recall, the events and the images and the video of what happened on June 18th, 2018, when the four of you robbed and killed X?
Yes.
At this time, I move into evidence States B and States 2.
You may.
Mr. Allen, when did you actually watch the video? Today, just right before you began testifying, correct?
Yes.
It was in the jail hallway there, correct?
Yes.
And you watched it with the prosecutor, Mr. Shield, correct?
Yes.
This video is 28 minutes long, approximately. Did you watch all 28 minutes of what is on this video?
No.
There are, did you, when you watched the video, were there portions of the video that you are not present in, correct? You don't know. You don't know if there's portions of this video that you're not present in, correct?
I saw myself.
You saw yourself for the portion that the prosecutor showed you, correct? How many minutes of this video did the prosecutor actually show you? Was it more than 2 minutes?
Yes.
Or was it more than 5 minutes? So as far as what is on the video that you did not see, you would agree with me, you have no idea if what's on the video fairly and accurately reflects what actually happened because you weren't there, correct? As far as,
I used to hear him.
mind your way.
No, it's just, you have to speak up to the microphone.
I don't understand the question.
Would you agree with me that you, as you sit there right now, you cannot tell this jury whether the portions of the video that you did not see that are on here actually fairly and accurately reflect what happened then?
Yes.
I have nothing further, Judge?
Any other objections other than previously?
Renewing the previous objections and also based on the information.
Consistent with your previous?
Yes.
All right,
Joint, same grounds on behalf of Mr. Newsom.
thank you.
I'm moving it into, as States 2.
Over objection with previously marked B for identification shall be received in evidence states to be published.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Allen, while the clerk is marking the exhibit, in a moment, I'm going to, with the court's permission to publish it, which you've given. Ready? Okay, thank you. Actually play the video for all of us. I'm going to play it one time through, all the way through, and then I'll ask you questions about it, okay? Once it starts to play, have the lights in, please. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
And the witness will note that the screen in front of you is going to show exactly what's on the screen behind.
So as Ms. Buckaloo is queuing up the video, you've met me before today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Have we watched the surveillance video from Riva before today?
Yes.
Have we watched it in its entirety together before today?
Yes.
we've watched it actually together multiple times, correct?
Objection, meeting.
Overruled.
We're ready for the vote. Huh? Okay.
Let me switch a second.
Please, yes. Okay, so we're gonna let it play all the way through and then we'll go back and I'll ask you questions about it.
You may reposition.
Yes, you can, if you come, maybe right here, if you want to sit next to him. Sorry, did you say that?
Bro, please tell me, did they literally just have the camera guy filming the television? Is that what I just saw? This is so amateur. This is not even funny. Unreal. And that key witness who supposedly saw everything, dude, that dude was in the car for 2 seconds and ran out. What did he see? He was supposedly maybe there to hear them say, "Give me the chain." Bro, that dude was not in that car long enough to hear anything. This is the most amateur trial I've ever seen. I think they do better like in high school mock trials. This is crazy. I don't know. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. Be sure to hit that thumbs up. Like the stream, help us out there. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell for all notifications. Check out all of the content that we have. There's tons and tons. You probably find something on there that you like. Be sure to share our YouTube channel.
Unfortunately, you're going to be in the little room. Let you have as much time as you need to. How long it takes you.
Taking a stretch break, and they've been back in court for like 3 minutes. There's a lot of breaks. There's a lot of breaks in this trial. This is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Update for those of you that weren't here for the Jahseh Onfroy trial. So that has been moved to February 27th now. It was originally scheduled for the 13th, and they were able to delay until the 27th. 12-person jury starting at 8:30. Still not sure if the jury selection will be live streamed or not. If it is, we will be here for that. If not, then we will wait until the first day of trial. But we will definitely be live streaming that trial. For those of you that are not familiar, so the judge presiding over that is Judge Jennifer Doro. She was the judge that handled the Darrell Brooks Waukesha Parade incident case. Jahseh Onfroy is being charged for murder, allegedly poisoning an elderly woman that she was caring for with Visine, and then stole over $200,000 from her. She was in court again this morning on some motion arguments, one to delay the trial. They got that to the 27th now. They quashed some subpoenas for witnesses and some other stuff that they did today. I don't remember now. But basically, if you guys watch the Mark Jensen trial here in Wisconsin, this is like the female version of that. So she claims that the lady unalived herself. The state claims that Onfroy poisoned her with Visine. Again, another case with evidence that was destroyed. I don't understand how they do that, but pretty crazy. So that is that case there. We'll be covering that for sure. So depending on how long this case takes, who knows? At this rate, we'll be here for the next year. But once Krajewski starts, we're going to switch over to that. And then depending on kind of where you guys are, maybe we'll do double streams, kind of restream what we're missing in this case. Yeah, she was the caregiver, Nana. So there's court documents too that she tried to get. She tried to file a will, because she was trying to get like basically all the inheritance and all of that, and the court had blocked all of that. So yeah, so on the 27th we'll switch over to Krajewski. That's expected to take 4 to 5 weeks. So it's going to be interesting because on March 13th, we're going to be covering the Christopher Shore trial. So Christopher Shore is the Michigan police officer that shot Patrick Loyola in the back of the head after a traffic stop. So because we talk about those types of issues on this channel, we're definitely covering that case. It's going to be a big one. Richard Allen for the Delphi murders. He has a bond hearing coming up on the 17th this month. Sarah Boone, the suitcase murder suspect. Her trial right now is slated for April 10th. So we might kind of be in line with some trials here. There might be a little bit of overlapping depending on how long these trials are. So we'll figure it out. But that's what we have coming up. Those are the trials that we'll be covering here on Never Stop. Again, for all you guys lurking in the background, you might want to be active in the chat. Come join us. Don't be shy. We don't bite as long as you're nice. But some of our viewers, purchase memberships and gift them. But you have to be active on the platform. And you have to subscribe to the channel. So, and have your, gifting, accept gifts or whatever turned on. Those are the requirements. And then YouTube randomly takes those gift memberships and divvies them out. But you got to be active. You got to have the gifting thing turned on, and you have to be a subscriber to the channel. So, but that happens periodically. So if you have not hit the thumbs up and you're watching, please do that. It helps us out. The more interaction you guys do, it helps push our channel out. We get shadow banned because of the type of content that we put up here. YouTube doesn't necessarily recommend us, so it hurts. Type in the comment section where you guys are tuning in from. I haven't, we didn't restream, because I had to end the stream. We were having issues, for whatever reason with the video. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the amount of video content I have sitting on the computer. I'm trying to move stuff over and delete stuff, but there's a lot of video content I can't delete. So I don't know. But anyway, so we had to stop the stream and do a part 2. So we had a little bit of weirdness there. And it was kind of twacking out a little bit. But seems to be okay for now. What's up, universe? Yeah, this trial is definitely, I don't know. I mean, this is a weird trial. This is very amateur. I've not listened to his music. Dog Mama says I had to rewatch the shooting. Yeah, this dude like testified like he saw all types of stuff, and this dude didn't see anything. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That dude took off quick. Between Seattle and Portland. Bro, I was just out in Portland. Did you know that? Did you see my hiking videos? I was just out in Portland. I went and hiked Mount Hood. And bro, I just got, since you're here and we kind of sort of said some stuff about Kenosha. So I put that article out about the curfew, and then of course we finally get a document that we were waiting for. So remember I said the mayor wasn't in the meetings, and they did all this stuff on the 25th, the day of the Rittenhouse shooting, as far as the curfew. So I get this document, and that resolution that they adopted on the 25th, fucking, this dude did not sign, the mayor did not sign that document until the 25th or the 27th. So he wasn't even there on the 25th, right? To extend this illegal curfew 3 days. He didn't even sign that goddamn thing until the 27th. We just got that. And then remember I was talking about the general of the National Guard. So we have that video. I'm going to post that later tonight. Yeah, dude, it's not, dude, I'm telling you, bro, I'm way too good at what I do. These guys are so fucked, dude. Like, I don't, dude, honestly, I don't know why more people are not filing lawsuits against that city. I really have no idea. Well, Skateboard Dude has their Anthony Huber's wrongful death lawsuit made it past another stage in the court process. And that's a federal court case. Those are hard. But I don't know, there's some weird verbiage in that court document. I think some of it's going to be a little difficult, but yeah, that just made it past. That just made it past the next stage. But then there's a protester. That's why we played that one with the rubber bullet. There's a protester that filed a civil suit for getting hit with the rubber bullet. So he's like, dude, he's like so happy that we found that video clip. Do you know how many thousands of hours of video we've had to sift through to find that? It was crazy. He was getting real depressed, dude. He didn't think that video, like any video footage, was gonna ever be recovered. I've been looking for that forever. And honestly, it's, I told you guys last night, it's taken a year to find that footage, right? But he got shot in 2020. So, I wish I had my old videos from the first Facebook page that we went live on, because there's video footage of him and I together from like filming different rallies and shit. And he showed me his fucking leg all fucked up. I filmed it, but I have no access to any of those videos. We need to raise a shit ton of money so I can sue Facebook, so I can fucking get all those videos back. There's so many, bro. There's hundreds of videos, and they're just gone. But yeah, I filmed him at a rally, and he was like showing me his leg all fucked up. So, but yeah, I mean, that's August 2020, and then a full actual year of like really digging for it. As soon as they filed that lawsuit, he messaged me and asked if I knew anything or had any video or. Oh, I have that video. That video's up on the channel. That CJ Morris guy, that's still there. All right, here we go. Back to court.
Airport's not bad. The airport's not bad. Yeah. Starts finding stuff. Used to have like a group taser. Be able to get like 15 on one shot.
Parties may be seated, court will come forward. Parties are present, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. State may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Excuse me, Mr. Allen, we're continuing to look at state 2. And now we're going to talk about some of the specific parts of state 2 so I can ask you questions about what we're seeing, okay? Are you able to see it from the monitor that's in front of you?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to pause it periodically and then ask you questions. Okay. I have it paused at, the player has it at 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Who is the individual that we see walking into frame in the handicap parking spot with long dark pants and a dark shirt?
Me.
Okay. Who is the individual? I have it paused right now at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. And the individual is walking over the pavement right above what appears to be an arrow sign on the pavement, wearing a tank top and long pants and some bright colored slippers. Who is that? Okay. And Deidre Williams, same Deidre Williams that you identified as Deidre Williams in court today as one of the defendants?
Yes.
Now, I'm pausing because you're about to walk in, it appears like the structure and the building of Riva Motorsports. When you earlier were testifying before stage 2 was published about you and Deidre Williams going inside to verify if Xxx was actually in fact inside the store, is this the moment that you're talking about, that you're walking into the store to do that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm pausing it at 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Looking to the left of your screen, who do you recognize to be in this shot of out of the 4 individuals or 5 individuals that's there? Starting with the individual in the jean jacket. Who is that? Okay. And where are you in relation to the people that we see in this paused portion of the video? Where are you? Yes. Point out your clothing.
All of that.
Behind Deidre Williams, you've identified to be Deidre Williams.
Yes.
I'm pausing it at 3 minutes and 35 seconds right now. I'm pausing it at 3 minutes and 35 seconds right now. Where are you in this frame? Identified by clothing.
All of that. I'm walking behind you.
Where are you and Deidre Williams headed to?
That was close.
Now I'm pausing it at 3 minutes and 43 seconds. And you appear to be holding something in your left hand. What are you holding?
Cell phone.
And why are you holding your cell phone at that point?
I'm trying to call Michael.
Now, you referred to earlier when you tried to place a phone call to Michael Boatwright, and you indicated that the phone call did not connect to Michael Boatwright. Is this the portion that you're talking about when you were in the store?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna fast forward just a little. Okay. There's point out where you are in this particular frame. Are you the upper left hand corner?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see at the counter there is someone with a hat? It looks like a camouflage hat that's on backwards.
Yes.
Who is that person?
I don't know.
Okay. Did that person arrive with you in the Dodge Journey that day on June 18th, 2018?
No,
Did that person leave with you in the Dodge Journey that day on 2018?
no,
Was that person present, from what you recall, at any point during the homicide or during the robbery when the four of you blocked off the victim's car in 2018?
no.
Okay, I'm pausing it at 6 minutes and 47 seconds. Do you see there's three individuals walking, it appears like towards the front of the store with their back towards the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. The individual wearing all black without a hat, who's that?
Me.
How about the individual with the backwards hat, and it looks like white socks in the middle? And the individual on the left with the light colored tank top? Now, did the individual in the middle, I'm gonna continue to let it play, do you know what vehicle he got into to leave?
No,
Did he get into the Dodge Journey?
no,
Did at any point in time, did you see that individual in the middle shoot triple X?
no,
Did you even see a firearm in that individual's hands?
no.
As we're continuing to watch the three of you walk away, was that individual part of the plan that the four of you had to rob anyone that day? I'm gonna pause it, and are you able to see that individual with the backwards hat still in the frame?
Yes,
How far ahead he is? How far ahead of you is he?
pretty far.
Was your Dodge Journey that you were about to get into with the three co-defendants to rob the victim parked where that individual was parked?
No.
Where was the Dodge Journey in the, like, right now, as we're looking at the parking lot, where was the Dodge Journey parked in relation to where you're standing right now in this video? Is it to the left, like using north,
to the
south? Hold on, let me just, because she can only take one of us at a time. North, south, east, and west. Is it north of you? Is it south of you? Is it east of you? Is it west of you? The Dodge Journey.
East,
Okay. And which direction are you guys walking in? Which direction is that individual with the backwards hat walking in? pausing it again at 8 minutes and 23 seconds. At this point, do you ever see that individual with the backwards hat again after this point when you're walking to your car in your whole entire life? I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Pausing it at 17 minutes and 54 seconds. What car is that we see in this frame? Who's driving? Who's behind Dietrich in the back passenger?
Me.
Who's in the front passenger? In the front seat?
Michael Boatwright.
And who's behind Michael Boatwright in the back passenger? At the point that we're watching the car pull out of the Riva parking lot, do Michael Boatwright and Trayvon Newsom already have their masks on with their hoodies? Are you able to locate where the Dodge Journey is at this point?
Yes.
Tell us where you see it in the frame. I'm gonna pause it at 18 minutes and 23 seconds. Okay. No. Okay, can you see the mouse?
Yeah.
All right. This is the top of the screen. I'm circling the mouse to the top of the screen. This is the bottom of the screen. And this is going to be your left and your right. Where should I place the mouse as to where the Dodge Journey is? Okay. Do I need to keep moving it over? Or tell me when to stop. Okay. A little bit to the left?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Where I place the mouse and I'm now circling it. Is that, what car is that? And are you still in, are the four of you still in the same position that you just testified about in the car?
Yes.
At what point now, as the car is backed in, are you able to observe Michael Boatwright start to put on his mask and start to put on his hoodie in preparation to rob and kill the victim? Yeah, what moment? We're watching it play, so tell us at what moment does he start to do that? Okay, how about Trayvon Newsom? And I'm pausing it at 18 minutes and 26 seconds. At what point does Trayvon Newsom start to put on his mask and his hoodie in preparation to rob and to assist Michael Boatwright in killing the victim? Where are the firearms at this point? I'm sorry? So at what point do you see Michael Boatwright get the firearm in his hand? How about Trayvon Newsom? At what point do you see him get the firearm in his hand while you guys are waiting right now in the car?
We already have it.
Okay, I'm letting it play. Are you able to see from your vantage point when you're in the car, the victim's BMW i8 from where you all four are seated in the car?
Yes.
Do you know why was that specific spot picked? And I know you indicated regarding surveillance, but why was it important for you to continue to see the vantage point of the victim's car while you're lying in wait? And I'm gonna ask you while it's playing right now, but I'm gonna ask you to stay focused on the Dodge journey that you're in with the 3 co-defendants as the 4 of you are lying in wait for the victim to come out. Because my next question will be in that area, okay? I'm pausing it at 20 minutes and 45 seconds. Did you see another vehicle pull up next to your car?
Yes.
And you know who was in that vehicle?
No.
Did anyone who was in the vehicle, it's a light colored vehicle from what I can tell, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did anyone that was in that vehicle that just parked next to the Dodge Journey that the 4 of you are in, waiting for the victim, get out of that vehicle and into your car, the Dodge Journey?
No.
Did anybody from the Dodge Journey get out of the Dodge Journey? And by anybody, I mean the Trayvon Newsom get out of the Dodge Journey and enter that vehicle that just parked next to you?
No.
Did Michael Boatwright get out of that Dodge Journey and enter the car that's parked next to you?
No.
Did Dietrich Williams get out of the Dodge Journey and go into the car that's next to you?
No.
I'm letting it play. Continue to focus on that area where your car is parked lying in wait. I'm pausing it at 21 minutes and 34 seconds. There seems to be an individual at the back of that light colored car parked next to you that's at the trunk area of the light colored vehicle. Who is that?
I don't know.
Did that individual at any point in time talk to you while the individual was at the back of that light colored car?
No.
How about did the individual talk to Michael Boatwright?
No.
How about did the individual talk to Trayvon Newsom?
No.
Did the individual talk to Dietrich Williams?
No.
I'm pausing it again at 21 minutes and 38 seconds. It appears that the individual is now bent over into, it appears the back of the light colored car. You know what the individual is getting out of the back of that car?
No.
I'm letting it play. Okay, I'm pausing it at 22 minutes and 2 seconds. there's now a third vehicle, another light colored car, it appears to be a sedan. Do you see where I'm talking about? Stopped in the street right in front of the Dodge Journey. Whose car is that? Do you know who's driving it? Did any individual in that light colored sedan that's in front of the Dodge Journey get out of that light colored sedan and get into the Dodge Journey? Did Michael Boatwright get out of the Dodge Journey where he was lying in wait to rob and kill the victim and get into that light sedan? Did Trayvon Newsom, who was in the Dodge Journey, lying in wait to rob and kill the victim, get out of the Dodge Journey and into that light colored sedan? Did Dietrich Williams, who was lying in wait in the Dodge Journey to kill and rob the victim, get out of the Dodge Journey and get into that light colored sedan? I'm continuing to let it play. Did anyone in that light colored sedan speak to any one of the four of you while that car was parked in the street like that? Approximately how long did the four of you lie in wait for the victim to come out before you robbed and killed him?
10 minutes from that.
Okay, I'm gonna continue to fast forward a little bit. I'm just pausing it, 25 minutes and 22 seconds. The individual that was inside the store at the counter at Riva, that was wearing the backwards hat and the camouflage backwards hat, you remember him?
Yes.
Was he in that first vehicle where the individual was in the trunk that was parked next to you? Did you see him there?
No.
How about in the light colored sedan that was parked in front of you as you were in the Dodge Journey? That was parked in the street? Remember the second vehicle that parked in front of you guys?
Yes.
Was that individual with the backwards hat in that car? You don't think so, or you know? Was he or was he not?
Didn't see inside the car.
Did you see anybody matching that description with a backwards hat, just like you had seen him in Riva, come out of that light colored sedan and get into your Dodge Journey? I'm gonna pause it just before the victim is getting to the exit. It's 25 minutes and 58 seconds. At this point, you've been sitting in the Dodge Journey with the three co-defendants for at least 10 minutes lying in wait. Who spots the victim first about to leave, exiting Riva Motorsports? And what does Dietrich say as the victim is about to exit the parking lot right at this moment that we're seeing right now?
He asked if they're ready.
He said what?
He asked Michael and Trayvon, are they ready?
And what did Michael and Trayvon say as Dietrich asked them if they are ready as the victim is about to exit Riva Motorsports? What do they say?
Yes.
I'm pausing it at 26 minutes and 6 seconds. Two individuals have now exited the Dodge Journey. The shorter individual that we see with the hoodie and the light colored pants out of the two, who is that?
Trayvon.
Out of the three co-defendants that's sitting here right now in trial, which one is Trayvon Newsome that you're identifying in the video out of the three? Who's the taller individual that has the darker pants on and a hoodie?
Michael Boatwright.
Out of the three defendants that are on trial right now, who is the one that you're identifying as Michael Boatwright in the video?
Black suit and gray sweater.
Let the record reflect the in-court identification of Trayvon Newsome and Michael Boatwright. What does Michael Boatwright have in his hands in the video?
22 rifle.
22 rifle, that's 22 caliber rifle.
Yes.
What does Trayvon Newsome have in his hands in the video?
38 revolver.
Who is the individual that's leaned over more and it appears to be inside the car on the driver's side?
Trayvon.
Who is the individual right now? I paused it at 26 minutes and 29 seconds. Who is the individual that's running around to the passenger side of the victim's vehicle?
Trayvon.
Who is the individual that has a firearm pointed, what appears to be at least the level of the victim's head as the victim is in the driver's seat?
Michael Boatwright.
Who is, okay, I'm pausing it right now, 26 minutes and 35 seconds. Who is the individual that stands back, steadies himself, pointed with the rifle at the victim's head right now?
Michael Boatwright.
Who is the individual that we can see from the video that fires the shot, several shots into the victim's car, striking him several times and killing him?
Michael Boatwright.
And from what we can see, there's an individual that appears to have taken some type of property in his hand. Who's the individual that took some property from the passenger side?
Trayvon.
What was it that he took? I'm pausing it at 26 minutes and 42 seconds. All four of you are back in the car right now?
Yes.
What on earth was said after this homicide just happened, now that all four of you are in the car?
Trayvon asked Boatwright why did he shoot?
What did Michael Boatwright say?
Because he reached for the gun.
What did Dietrich Williams, if anything, say at this point, as he's driving away, fleeing from the scene? Now I'm pausing at 27 minutes and 9 seconds. Do you recognize the Dodge Journey from this angle of a different camera?
Yes.
Point out where the Dodge Journey is. I can use the mouse again. Is it at the top of the screen, bottom, left, or right?
Top.
Okay,
Go to the left. Go down. Right there.
okay. So I'm circling here. That's the Dodge Journey that the four of you are in.
Yes.
And it appears that the car is turning into a parking lot. Why is it that the Dodge Journey, well, it's being driven by Dietrich Williams according to your testimony, right?
Yes.
Why did Dietrich Williams just stop and wait at the light that we just saw? By your observations?
I'm trying to get away.
Now, I'm gonna use the same method again with the mouse. Do you see the Dodge Journey from this angle stopped at 27 minutes and 26 seconds?
Yeah.
Direct me where you see the Dodge Journey. Is it the top of the screen, bottom, left, right, or left?
Top.
Okay,
Go right.
okay,
Go down. Right there.
okay. So I'm circling where you indicated the Dodge Journey is, correct?
Yeah.
Now, we just saw the Dodge Journey. It appears to go through the parking lot. Why is it that the Dodge Journey went through the parking lot, as far as you know, and didn't stop for gas or for some groceries inside that store?
The light was red. And trying to get away from the scene.
Why were you trying to get away from the scene?
Not be red.
I couldn't hear you, Ms. Hill was coughing. Can you please repeat it again, nice and loud, for all of us to hear?
To not be arrested.
One moment. I'm letting it play. Okay, here's the video comes back. Out of the four of you, from what you discussed prior to robbing and killing the victim, did any one of you, as far as you know that Jahseh Onfroy, that you referred to as X, had all of this cash or any cash in the Louis Vuitton satchel that he was carrying? Do you know why the satchel was taken?
And Dietrich assumed that was a lot of money, $100,000.
When did he tell you that?
He got back in the car.
Now, when you get back to the car, who opened the bag?
All right.
And at what point do the four of you realize that there's at least $50,000 in cash in that bag?
On the job.
So who notices the cash first?
All right.
What does he say? Now that he's realizing that there's $50,000 in cash just stolen from the victim. What does Dietrich Williams say?
Carry on.
What does Trayvon Newsom say?
Carry on.
Do at any point while you're driving, or it could be after, is there a plan on how the $50,000 is going to be allocated between the four of you?
No.
Do you get any of that portion of the $50,000?
Yes.
How much did you get?
$5,000.
How much did Dietrich Williams get?
$15,000.
How much did Trayvon Newsom get?
$15,000.
How much did Michael Boatwright get?
$15,000.
Why did you only get $5,000 when Michael Boatwright got 15,000, Trayvon Newsom got 15,000, and Dietrich Williams got 15,000. Who made that decision? Tell us about that. What was that conversation where Dietrich Williams said that you were only gonna get $5,000 out of that $50,000?
He actually said I wasn't gonna get nothing.
Speak up nice and loud, I can't hear you.
He actually said I wasn't gonna get any money at all.
Did he?
Yes.
And what did you say in response to that?
Nothing.
What did Michael Boatwright say in response to that?
You gotta give him something. He was there.
Referring to you.
Yes.
And did Trayvon Newsom say anything in regard to that?
No.
So when Michael Boatwright speaks up and says that you should get something, what did Dietrich Williams say?
No.
So who then decides to give you 5?
Mark.
Now, when I say decide, was the cash, tell us, was the cash in front of the 4 of you and you're literally taking a pile of it? He takes a pile of it. Describe that in detail, how that works, or how that worked.
I'll take, the money is in $10,000 bands. They all three grab one, and then Michael give me 5,000, and they split the rest.
Okay, so the money was in bands. Have you ever seen when a stack of money comes from a bank?
Yeah.
Can you describe, was it like that, or was it a rubber band? Tell us how the money was, how you saw it
Black
packaged.
came from the bank.
Okay, and it was in a $10,000 band?
Yes.
What was the amount of the, bills that were in that $10,000 band? What was the denomination? Each, was it 5, singles, tell us?
$100.
Okay. What we just watched on camera, what you testified to, what county did this happen in?
Probably.
What state?
Florida.
You said north, what did you say?
Florida.
Oh, Florida, okay. Where did you go from there? You said the video stopped at a certain point, and I say you, collectively, all 4 of you. Where did the car, Dodge Journey, go from that point when the video stops?
Miles.
Where was your house in 2018?
Address,
You can give us the address, sure, if you remember it.
36 Northwest 17th Court,
What city?
Fort Lauderdale.
Why did the 4 of you go there? You have to speak up nice and loud.
I don't know.
So when the 4 of you get there, what happens next?
Split the money, and Dietrich calls for Uber.
Who did he call? Now, have you ever used Uber before?
Yes.
So you know that one of the ways you can use Uber is from an app on your phone, from a phone that you have in your hand.
Yeah.
Is that how he called for the Uber, or did he ask somebody else to call for the Uber?
I don't think he used his phone.
Okay. And did the Uber come and pick him up?
Yes.
So then who's left after Dietrich Williams gets his portion, his 15,000, and then leaves?
Michael and Trayvon.
What happens next?
A couple, like probably 10, 15 minutes, they moved the car to the apartment across the street from mine.
Who is they?
Michael Boatwright and Trayvon.
Where were you in relation to this when this is happening, when you say they moved the car?
Home.
Why didn't you go with them?
And I have nothing to do with the car.
Why not?
Like the murder had been taking place with the car.
Sorry, I didn't hear him.
Nice and loud.
Because a murder happened in that car.
Okay. When you say happened in the car, meaning the car was related to a homicide?
Yes.
Okay. So, so then now you're by yourself, and at some point, well, let me ask you, before Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright go to move the car, what happened to the firearms that were in their hands? Starting with Michael Boatwright, the .22 caliber rifle that he had just used to shoot and kill the victim. Where did that firearm go?
I don't know. They left with it. Michael and Trayvon left with it.
Okay, so did you ever see that .22 caliber rifle again after Michael Boatwright used it to kill the victim in this case?
No.
Did you see where Michael Boatwright or Trayvon Newsom or Dietrich Williams, did you see what they did with that firearm, specifically the one that was in Michael Boatwright's hand?
No.
How about the .38 revolver, the .38 caliber revolver that Trayvon Newsom had in his hand during the homicide and the robbery? Where did that weapon go?
I don't know.
Did Trayvon Newsom leave with it, or did he leave it at your house?
He left.
I'm sorry?
He left with it.
Did you see where he disposed of it or took it?
We didn't get rid of it right there.
How do you know?
And I seen him do it
When?
the next day.
So that would be June 19th, you saw the weapon, the .38 caliber revolver that Trayvon Newsom had?
Yes.
Tell us the circumstances of how you saw it.
He was still at the house and the gun was just laying around.
Okay. After that time on 6/19 where you saw it again, I'm talking about the .38 revolver that Trayvon Newsom had in his hand during the homicide and robbery. Did you see it after 6/19? Do you know where it went from there?
No.
Had you discussed with Trayvon Newsom where the gun went?
No.
How about with Michael Boatwright? Did you discuss where his .22 caliber rifle went?
No.
How about your weapon?
I still had it.
What? Tell us again what the caliber was.
40.
What did you do with it?
Got rid of it in Georgia.
Where?
In Georgia.
Right. Georgia's a big state. What did you do with the firearm? Where did you dispose of it?
Eastern Georgia.
And where?
Eastern.
How did you dispose of it?
Shoe stuffing. When you get for any pair of shoes, I wrap them in shoe stuffing. And then like Dixie bags, put it in the garbage. Garbage and do that.
Okay. And the garbage that you got rid of it, was it a garbage for residential area or commercial area? And since you wrapped it in and put it in the garbage in Eastman, Georgia, have you seen or heard about that firearm being located since 2018?
No.
Why did you dispose of it in that way?
I ain't got no other way to dispose of it.
Why not just keep the gun? Why did you want to get rid of it?
I go to the church house and we talk.
Why?
Because I had just been indicted.
So when you got rid of the firearm, you were already indicted?
Yes.
Now, when you were in Georgia, who were you in Georgia with?
Mike.
When did you and Michael go to Georgia in relation to, the homicide happens on June 18th, 2018. How soon after the homicide is committed by the four of you do you go to Georgia?
Probably a week.
How did you learn that you were indicted?
Social media.
And were you with any of the co-defendants when you learned that you were indicted?
No.
Did you discuss with the co-defendants, and I'm talking about all three of them, Dietrich Williams or Michael Boatwright or Trayvon Newsom, that the four of you had been indicted for first-degree murder?
No.
Michael Boatwright with you in Georgia?
He didn't want to leave.
He said what?
He didn't want to leave me.
Why? At some point, did you discuss with Michael Boatwright while, either before or while you were in Georgia, the charges of first-degree murder versus accessory after the fact?
Yes.
Tell us about that. How did that conversation even come about? Nice and loud, remember, nice and loud.
I was kind of bugging out, saying that I want to be charged with murder, and I ain't do nothing. He was like, he looked it up on his phone. He looked up accessory on his phone. He showed me, what's the most you can be charged with? I'm all right, just chill.
Michael Boatwright basically legally advised you that you could just be charged with accessory?
Yes.
What did you do when he attempted to legally advise you about that? While, and I'm gonna move around in the timeline a little bit. While you were still, before you go to Georgia, while you were in Fort Lauderdale, and you said that Trayvon Newsom and Michael Boatwright have tried to return or park the Dodge Journey. At some point in time, something happened to the Dodge Journey while they're in it that you're aware of? Was the vehicle crashed?
Objection leading.
When all three of us was in the car, yes.
So all three of you were in the car when the vehicle was crashed?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What happened? Who's driving?
Michael Boatwright.
Who's the front passenger?
Me.
And who is in the back seat?
Trayvon Newsom.
Where were the three of you going? Well, first, what day was this on?
June 18th.
How soon after the three of you just committed armed robbery and homicide were you three of you traveling in the Dodge Journey?
It was like an hour and a half.
Okay. Where was Dietrich Williams?
Home.
When you referred to him as leaving with the Uber, he had already left with the Uber?
Yes.
So the three of you were left?
Yes.
Okay. And where were you going at that point in time, the three of you in the Dodge Journey, an hour and a half after the homicide?
To the car wash.
Why?
The car had to be returned.
So after committing the homicide, you wanted to return the car clean?
Yes.
Did you make it to the car wash?
No.
Why not?
And the crash.
When you say we, who was driving when the crash happened?
Michael Boatwright.
So what, if, and how did the car accident even happen? Tell us that.
I was leaving off my street and make a right on 31st Avenue. Get 31st and 19th Street. And make it after we make a left. Car like stalled out. He's pressing on the gas and won't go anymore. So I smashed into us.
Were any of you injured during that time?
No.
Do you know if any of you injured any of the motorists that were involved in the accident? Did any of you stay behind to even attempt to see if anybody was injured or to render assistance?
At first, no.
So tell us about that. At first, what is the first thing that happens that the three of you do after you just crashed the Dodge Journey? Why?
No one in the car.
Did one of you tell the others to run, or tell us how that worked?
It was just a reaction.
Okay, so just all three of you just started running.
Yes.
Were you running in the same direction?
No.
So what direction did you run in?
I ran up 31st,
What direction did Michael Boatwright run in?
up 19th, and ran into the apartment.
How about Trayvon Newsom? What direction did he run in?
He ran towards my house.
At some point in time, did you all meet back up again after this car accident just happened?
Yes.
Where?
Me and Michael met up. He found somebody in the apartment to pick us up. And I'm coming up the street. They're coming out the apartments, pick me up, and we going to them.
When you say they, Michael Boatwright and who?
I don't know.
At the point where you're picked up by Michael Boatwright and the other individual that you don't know, where is Trayvon Newsom?
Running towards my house.
Okay, but he's not with you in the car.
No.
At what point do you and Michael Boatwright eventually catch up with Trayvon Newsom?
Probably like an hour or two later.
And I couldn't hear you?
Probably like an hour or two later.
Okay, an hour or two later. And where do the three of you then reunite again?
Michael Boatwright's house.
Why Michael Boatwright's house? At some point, at any point, did one, two, or all three of you return back to the crash scene where you left the Dodge Journey?
Yes.
Tell me about that. What happened?
Trayvon went back.
Why Trayvon and not you?
Because Trayvon has license. I have license too, but I wasn't going there to car again. So Dietrich, I'm like forced me to go.
How did Dietrich Williams force Trayvon to go back to the scene of the car crash, to the car? What was that conversation? Tell us what Dietrich Williams said.
So you gotta go back and go get it. You got to go back to the car.
Why? Did he say why?
No.
And-
You gotta go get it.
And so Trayvon actually listened to Dietrich Williams and then just went back and got the car?
Yes.
Where was Michael Boatwright when this was happening?
With me.
So the four of you were together, reunited again.
No. You said, where was Michael Boatwright when the car was getting, when you me and Boatwright together in the village?
No, what I'm asking about is, at the point where you're saying Dietrich Williams is, you said he forced Trayvon Newsom to go back to the scene and go get the car.
Yes.
Where's Michael Boatwright during this interaction?
With me.
So the four of you are together in person?
No.
Okay, so three of you are together in person.
So two of us, just me and Michael Boatwright. Trayvon, Chucky calls Trayvon. First he calls us, me and Michael Boatwright, asks us what's going on. We tell him that the car's crashed, whatever. And tell him we're not going back to the car.
We being who? You and who?
Me and Michael Boatwright.
Tell Dietrich Williams on the phone that you're not going back to get the car.
Yes.
Okay, so then go ahead. What happens next?
Deacon calls Trayvon.
On three-way,
You know,
how does he call
he hangs up with us and then he calls him and tells him where we get.
him? Okay, so then,
He calls us back to tell us what he just told Trayvon.
so Dietrich Williams calls you back and tells you what he just told Trayvon.
Yeah.
And what do you say?
Yeah.
What does Michael Boatwright say?
No.
At some point, do you actually speak to Trayvon? We're just talking about that same moment before he goes back to the car.
No.
How about after he goes back to the car?
Yeah.
Tell us about that conversation.
He said he almost got arrested.
Ooh.
Go ahead and tell us what Trayvon Newsom says after he went back to the car, after Dietrich Williams just forced him to go back to the car.
He said he almost got arrested and they gave him a ticket.
They who? Who was he referring to?
Law enforcement.
A ticket for the crash?
Yes.
And so he didn't get the ticket, but he said he almost did.
He got
He got the ticket. Okay. Do you know, did he tell you what the ticket was for? Okay. And do you inquire what happened to the car at this point? Where's the car at this point?
being told.
Okay, so what time of day is this at this point?
About 5 or 6,
Of what day?
June 18th.
Are you aware what the status of the victim is at this point? And by that, I mean, you know that the four of you, what you had done at Riva. Do you know if the victim is alive?
Yes.
You do know?
I know passed over.
How do you know that?
We driving on the 31st, turned on 19th, and announced on the radio.
Who was in the car when it was announced on the radio that the victim had been killed?
Me, Trayvon, and my phone.
So Dietrich Williams wasn't with you?
No.
What was the conversation between the three of you after just hearing on the radio that the victim did not survive the injuries that the three of you sustained or gave him?
They all look like each other. Or
You turned the music up after learning that he had just killed a victim.
yes,
What did Trayvon Newsom do?
just help me.
What did you do? At any point, when the three of you are in the car, after you just learned that you killed a victim, did any one of you communicate that to Dietrich Williams? Or talk about it with Dietrich Williams that the victim did not survive?
Not at the time.
Did there come a point in time when you did?
Yes.
When was that?
We were at Fort Lauderdale.
Same day of June 18th?
Yes.
Okay, so now you're back at Boatwright, meaning Michael Boatwright's house?
Yes.
And tell us again, why did you go back to Boatwright's house?
I can't hear him, Judge.
It was away from the crash and all that.
Okay, so this is after the three of you ran in different directions, and then you met up again at Michael Boatwright's house.
Yes.
Tell us about that conversation that you had with Dietrich Williams about the victim not surviving what you just had done at Riva.
Pretty much said,
Tell us what was said.
Judge, I'm sorry, for the record, I'm gonna need him to start talking and not longer. It's driving me crazy and I need to listen.
Then I'm gonna object to the speaking objection and all of that
All
extra
right.
commentary, please.
Just
Sir, if you'll just, when you lean in a little bit closer, it comes out nice and clear. Thank you. Okay, see,
Thank you, Judge, just one moment. All right, nice and loud. Tell us, what was the conversation between you and Dietrich Williams about the victim's death?
like, damn, he's really dead.
He said what?
Damn, he's really dead.
And what'd you say?
No.
And in response to you saying nothing, what did Dietrich Williams say?
What?
What kind of phone did you have back in 2018, do you recall?
Awful.
What kind of phone did Dietrich Williams have in 2018?
Awful.
What kind of phone did Michael Boatwright have in 2018?
Awful.
What kind of phone did Trayvon Newsom have in 2018?
Andrew.
Android.
Yes.
So in 2018, the model that Trayvon Newsom had, the Android model that he had, was it an older model or a newer model?
Older.
Did he commonly have his phone on him, he being Trayvon Newsom?
Yes.
Was the phone commonly charged during that time?
No.
And when I'm saying during that time, I'm talking about during the time of the homicide, correct? It was not normally charged?
No.
And how about during the time that he was living with you for that 2 to 3 months? Was Trayvon Newsom's phone normally charged?
No.
Do you know why or why not?
It goes dead fast.
Okay. And so during the homicide, did you have your phone on you?
Yes,
Did Michael Boatwright have his phone on him?
yes,
Was it turned on and, as far as you know, working?
yes,
Did Dietrich Williams have his phone on him? Was it turned on and, as far as you know, working?
yes,
How about Trayvon Newsom? Did he have his phone on him?
yes,
Was it turned on, charged, and working?
no,
Judge, may we go sidebar to schedule?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 18. And based on what counsel tells me is the next portion of her questioning, this is a logical All the evidence, arguments, counsel, instructions, and law by me until that time, you must not discuss case even among yourselves. During the course of the trial, we take regular recesses during which you're permitted to separate and go about your personal affairs. During these recesses, you shall not discuss case with anyone or permit anyone to say anything to you in your presence. If anyone says anything to you in your presence, remind me on the jury, ask them to stop, give no warrants, put them out. My deputies, if you see counsel, witnesses, defendants, anyone else associated with this case in the hallway, they will ignore you. They're not being rude. They're following the court's orders. We will reconvene tomorrow morning at 10:30. So, about 20 after, 25 after, if you can be in the reception room, that would be great. Again, if you need any further letters, documents, or things that I can assist you with, please let one of my deputies know. And make sure you, again, insulate yourself from any media exposure or anything else. Thank you again for your time, attention, patience today. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Parties present, jurors are asking, okay, we can excuse the witness for now, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
With the, he didn't hear anything on sidebar, so
yeah,
I can just
so,
say right now.
Mr. Allen, you are, going to be temporarily excused. You will be back tomorrow at, I'm gonna bring you up 10:15, 10:30, something like that, to continue with your testimony. You are not to discuss your testimony with any other witness or state or anything else, since you are now on the stand, okay? And I will remind you tomorrow that you are still under oath. At this time, you're excused. You can,
Sorry, Judge, that means you can't talk to me either? Is that what you're
you can
instructing?
talk to counsel, but you, are you planning on speaking with him?
I'm really not, unless he had something he needed to talk to me
Is there
about.
something you need to speak with him about? Because he does have a right to speak with his counsel, because counsel's not really a party, but I would like everyone to know that that's going on.
Right, and I don't have any, I'm not gonna be talking to him, I'm not gonna be talking to Mr. Lewis to talk to him or using him as a proxy, I will
I
not do
understand.
that.
Mr. Allen, did you need to speak with your counsel tonight?
I would continue to object, it's not prior to his testimony, it's in the middle of his testimony. He hasn't said anything that you need a lawyer about what he might testify about, any jeopardy he would have. So I can't see that being anything other than, a problem at this point in our trial.
He has privilege to talk to his attorney, we don't know what he wants to talk to him about, nor does he have to disclose it. He can talk to him about anything, and Mr. Ramirez or anybody won't know. So I don't see how any order can be entered. He has an absolute right to talk to his counsel.
He has a counsel to speak for him. I don't know why Mr. Shields insists to speak for him.
Because I represent the state, I can speak at the state.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Jim?
Yes, sir. I mean, I don't know if he's indicated he wants to speak to me. I mean, I'd like to speak to him in the back, if that's what he.
No, that's not even in the back.
Okay. Can I just speak to him briefly right here and see what
Yeah,
the
it's
issue
over
is?
objection.
Yeah, Mr. Go ahead.
any of your clients choose to testify, they actually can speak to you even when they're on the stand because you're their counsel, but it's, you know, so there are some exceptions to this.
So just so it's clear, the issue that he wanted me to talk, he wanted me to call his mom and tell him that he's okay. He doesn't want his mom to come, he just wanted me to call his mom and tell her that he's okay. That's what I'm doing.
All right, thank you. All right, well, that ends that. All right, and so Jim, I'm gonna ask that you not speak further with him tonight. If you're gonna speak with him again, we should know about it.
It'll be here in the morning.
Very good, thank you. All right.
Ten 15, Judge says.
I want him up first, and we'll, before the jury comes out, we can place him over there, then the defense will be brought up, they'll be placed over here, then we can put him from there into the box, then the jurors will talk.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You'll be there? I hope.
So now I'm wrong. I wasn't saying you did something wrong. I'm saying you did it.
No,
Because
no,
you're
she
saying,
was-
right, I'm saying you did it, and there's nothing wrong with it.
This is the Kemok rule that we are.
Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, look at it, and if we all agree, it has to be.
I'm gonna do it right now. Girl, it was important.
All right, so nothing else for us on the record, correct?